Hi, this is John Adamson, the rehab documentation guru, and I received an email from one of my past course participants asking me to give some explanation about therapeutic activities. What is it? How do you bill for it? Also related to, I believe the question was bundling codes or codes that have a bundle of other services within them. So let me talk to you about what, first of all, therapeutic activities means from Medicare's perspective. And this is the definition, and this comes from primarily NGS and CGS and some of the other MACs that are out there. Therapeutic activities is defined as, and I'm reading right from the definition, a broad range of activities that involve movement. Specific body parts could be moved, entire body, functional activities, must be short-term and or long-term goal oriented, involve instruction of patient and or caregiver, and can address compensations the patient needs to learn to overcome underlying impairments that impede a specific functional goal. Actually, that last part's from me. Trying to help people tie in the utilization of therapeutic activities. So let's talk about this. First of all, broad range of activities. So therapeutic activities has long been a catch-all intervention that therapists can do. And so they can do things that are neuromuscular education related, but fall more under kind of a general category. They can do therapeutic exercise related functional activities that fall maybe under a functional category. So there's a broad range of things that you can do that you can fit legitimately under therapeutic activities. The other thing to note is that it involves movement, and the movement needs to be specific to what the patient is doing. In other words, it's an active movement from the patient. So if you were doing something passively to the patient, you would not be billing therapeutic activities. There are other codes that might fall in that realm. So for example, you could be doing an activity that the patient's not really engaging in very well, but it's designed to enhance balance, posture, proprioception, kinesthesia, or I just blanked on the other one for neuromuscular reeducation. But the 5 components of neuromuscular reed. If you're billing therapeutic exercise, which involves range of motion, that or stretching, that could be a fairly passive thing you're engaging the patient in. But in this case, therapeutic activities are always somebody's doing something other than you, but of course you're involved in the training. Excuse me, guys, it just started raining heavily. I had my window cracked open a little bit. We are getting just tremendous rain here in Virginia. So anyway, it has to be an activity the patient's doing. Now, you do need to specify either a specific body part or whether it involves the entire body or where there's a specific function related to your goals. So there's a purpose behind the therapeutic activity you're doing. Make sure that's clear in your documentation. In another video, I covered the essential elements of a skilled intervention. You might want to watch that. And it incorporates documentation for any of the CPT codes that you're doing. Notice also that it involves education. And we often use that as education as therapists for patients and or caregivers. Just make sure that if you're documenting therapeutic activities and you're talking about caregiver ed, make sure it's clear the patient was involved in the training that the caregiver is involved in. If you don't involve the caregiver in your documentation, then what it looks like is that you've provided care that happened outside of patient care time, and you can't bill for that. So therapeutic activities has long been a catch-all. Now, when you bill therapeutic activities with things like therapeutic exercise, with things like gait training, because gait training involves movement, a broad range of movement for the entire body, you do have to have the 59 modifier when you're billing them together. And that lets the Medicare auditor know you're doing a separate and distinct service. Just make sure that if you build gait training, let's say with therapeutic activities on the same day, that it's very clear that gait training was specific to gait The therapeutic activities was more of a broad range of activities that were outside the parameters of gait training, because otherwise you won't support both codes. And therapeutic activities is an expensive code, and Medicare will look for opportunities to not pay for it. So anyway, I hope you found that helpful. Again, you can find that definition for therapeutic activities primarily in NGS, National Government Services. Their LCD, local coverage determination, has probably one of the more extensive definitions. Also, First Coast, which has some coverage in Florida. I'm not exactly sure what other states First Coast covers, but Florida is a state I deal with a lot amongst many. And anyway, they have pretty extensive definitions of the CPT codes anyway. This is John Adamson, the Rehab Documentation Guru. If you like my content, please subscribe. Please like this video. Also, if you like my content and you want to go to one of my live courses, I do teach for Summit Professional Education. I have a course called Documentation Bootcamp, where we go into documenting reasonable necessary care. And I also have a couple courses, and soon to be a third one, with an organization called Allied Health Education. And 20% of proceeds for all those courses go to Reese's Rainbow, an organization designed to help children with special needs find homes permanently who need to be adopted, and my wife and I have adopted through them. So thank you. I probably won't take the time to answer much in the way of comments on these videos, but people email me, and in this case, somebody emailed and requested that I do a video related to this. So thanks so much, and you take care.